Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You asked for a FAMAS video to come out today, so here it is. I'm going to go in depth into the FAMAS, how much it does in combat, and basically everything else about it. So without further ado, let's get into it. The FAMAS is a burst rifle that shoots a volley of 3 rounds, and let's just go ahead and get something out of the way. This is a free rifle. It doesn't cost any Robux, and you can just get it from any of the 4 locations, so that's going to be really good for you guys. The first location is going to be a gun store. You can also get it from police base. You can also get it from the criminal base. And the last place you can get it is from the alternate police base inside prison. The FAMAS does 12 damage to the body, and in a burst it can do a total of 36, and to the head it has a headshot multiplier of 1.5 times, so it does 18 to the head, and with the full burst hitting the head, you can do up to 54 damage at a time, which is quite impressive for one click of the mouse. The FAMAS has a damage per second, or a DPS, of around 82 when aiming for the body, and 124 when aiming for the head. This is really good for a rifle. But the time to kill won't actually align with the DPS because this is a burst rifle and because of some other technicalities, but it'll be similar. But just remember that since it's a burst rifle, you'll have to left click every time you want to shoot. It took me with an auto clicker just under 6 full seconds to mag dump, so it'll take you slightly longer if you don't have an auto clicker for this. So let's see what the time to kill is now. As you can see, the time goes to be around 1.31 seconds, and if you're unsure of that timer, you can just go ahead and rewatch the video in slow motion. You can see I stopped it at the exact time he died. Now when we aim for the head, we see that we can kill the target in 0.75 seconds, which is absolutely insane. Now when we're up against a target with armor and aim for the body, we're left with a much less impressive 3.18 seconds. And now when we aim for the head, we are left with a much more effective 1.98 seconds as a time to kill. So overall, we can see right now that the damage is great for this weapon. When we get to cars, there's a lot less to laugh about with this weapon. It barely does anything to cars. You could find a whole lot of other automatic weapons that could do the job a whole lot better. And even the devs nerfed the weapons because they used to do around the normal damage, but after a nerf, they do around half the damage. So you can see it does around 6 damage when it should be doing 12 to vehicles. And that leaves it with a really long time to destroy vehicles, which really makes this not a great weapon because you have to aim really well with it. And it's just a lot better to use an automatic weapon to take out another vehicle. One of the FAMAS's best selling points is its recoil. Its recoil is pretty good in cars. It has good recoil while standing and even better recoil while crouching. You can see with standing we get good accuracy, but if we were to crouch we would get even more accuracy. Just know that if you fire for way too long, then your recoil will go up and it'll be a little bit uncontrollable, but it'll be better in most guns. As you can see, I'm not having many problems hitting the body, but hitting every single shot in a burst isn't exactly easy. Now I'm just going to show you how the gun accuracy is in cars, and you can come up with your own conclusions about how good it is. Me personally, I think it's good for shooting ground targets, but not nearly as good as other guns for destroying cars. One of the cool things about this gun, and basically any other bullet rifle, is that it has infinite range. Now you might be able to see my friend on top of Mint Bank. He's really tiny, but sooner or later I'm going to get a hit marker. You saw it right there, and that's me breaking a little bit of his armor. Now I don't recommend aiming for people from that far, but if you're aiming for, say, a jet, you can do a whole lot of damage with just a tiny rifle. Now for the big question, we have to see if it's actually good in combat. And I say it's good at long-range combat because it's just so accurate. But you have to remember that it's a burst rifle. If the target is moving to the left and right, strafing, you have to follow him with your burst. Your burst doesn't happen instantly. And we're going to try it in battle right here. And we can see that I easily win this battle because I just have better accuracy than him. He has an AK and he just can't be nearly as accurate as I am. And I easily break his armor and drain his health. When we get to close quarters combat, everything changes. The FAMAS just doesn't have enough DPS to outmatch any of its premium rifle counterparts, and he has an AK and I have better aim than my friend over there, and he still manages to beat me easily just because he's able to easily spray me down with so many bullets. And so you wouldn't want to use FAMAS in a bank or any sort of close quarters. And now for my final thoughts on this, I'd give this one an 8 out of 10. It's a great rifle, it can be picked up in a lot of different places, and it's absolutely free, it's not pay to win. It's good for medium to long range combat, so that means you could dominate the streets with it, but when it comes to close quarters combat, it's not going to be nearly as easy because you want something that can actually spray people down. This is going to have trouble dealing with many targets, while the AK and the M4 shouldn't have any trouble at all. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this in-depth review of this gun, and I do plan to do a lot more of these in the future. See you later.